25 nickel fixes for a 2012 Chevy Impala. I've already done, I just written them all down, although I can't look at what I wrote. I already did about 10 of them. They amounted to $1,500. I did them all for a nickel. I rattled them off in that lousy video I did about the front catalytic converter, which is actually in the back. Just started rambling about them before I showed the nightmare-looking situation of that cat. By the way to do that cat, the two tricks I had work. One is rest your mind, and then the goose is suddenly out of the bottle, the Zen riddle. And then the second one, I did it really quickly while I was talking. I rested my mind, and I said, oh, let's move this exhaust pipe. And that works. You move the big exhaust pipe because it's got springs on it. So I was going to move it 2 inches to the left and then push the hoses up a little bit. And I did that, but it was so much easier with the springs that the catalytic converter suddenly, which was totally stuck before, suddenly just fell out towards me. You know, and I managed to not get conked on the head with it, but be wary of that. Okay, I'm babbling. I rattled off 10 of them there. I just added up all these repairs. It came to like $4,000 at a mechanic in the rare event that they don't rip you off and ruin something, and about $8,000 or $9,000 at the dealer. Maybe $4,500 at a regular mechanic, $9,000 at a dealer. So I averaged it to $7,500. In other words, to say 25 repairs at an average of $300 service fee for the repairs. I got all the parts for free because 2 people drove into my car, and I got $900 and $800 or $790. I got $1,700 off of it, and that's what the parts all costed me. But these are 25 repairs. I rattled off of 10 of them, or 15 of them on the last video. I'll rattle them off again. This video, it would amount to more than 25 repairs, but instead of saying 4 camshaft gears and 4 camshaft sensors, I'll just say camshaft gears and sensors like it's one blurry blob. You still have the right wrench in your hand. It's actually 8 things, but you already got the timing chain cover off and all that, and so you can swap them all on at the same time. I'll call that one thing. Probably would amount to $300 of labor. You could probably do it all in an hour. Yeah, somehow the mechanic will charge you 3 or 4 hours labor for it. Maybe they do it a little better than you or me. Maybe it'd be worth it. But by the time you did the whole timing chain complete rebuild, they charge you like $2,000 or $3,000. The dealer would charge you like $3,000 and say you have to use their parts, and they charge you another $3,000 for that. But anyways, I averaged the price to all these things out of. I averaged the price of all these things out to an average of $300 per repair. Some of them were $800. I looked up what they were cost. Some were $200. Some were $300. So basically, 25 $300 repairs, ergo $7,500, which is just what I just said. It's between $4,500 and $9,000 at the dealer. $4,500 and being ripped off at a mechanic, perhaps, unless they happen to like you a lot, or $9,000 at the dealer, and they'd probably rip you off. And when I say you, I mean me as well. But I will be modest and say it's $7,500 of repairs, labor, not the parts. I got the parts for free. The parts are another $2,000. But just get a couple people to crash into you, and you can extrapolate the money for the parts. I did it just with dumb luck. Actually, I think I was attempting that no one would crash into me, and that's when they crashed into me. Yeah. But if you do that on purpose, you'll actually be wishing they crash into you, and they won't, so don't even bother. Perhaps you'll be lucky and a couple of people will crash into you while you're parked, like that happened to me, and I got $1,700 and I bought all these parts. But anyway, the labor is a nickel. I ended up the labor being 75 nickels for me, which is $1.25 if I added them up right. Shit, did I add that right? That's not right, is it? 75 nickels is 25 nickels is $1.25, and then I got some free water at Quick Trip and a coffee that would have cost $1.25 I got for a nickel. So then in the end it cost me a nickel instead of $7,500. Yeah. And I wasn't in a good mood because I didn't go to the mechanic for months and months and months. Have them delay me, act like their time is important, make an appointment, but then they don't follow their appointment. I'm not speaking of just one instance. I'm talking about all the time. They have this delusion that their time is important and your time is not. So after the mechanics waste your time and take $7,500 or $4,500, or the dealer takes $9,500, they'll all waste your time. But I just did them all for a nickel, and I'm not even a mechanic. Here are the 25 repairs I did. I did half of them so far in this car. I haven't done the really hard one yet. That one is probably where it's going to be really tough because I don't know how to remove the wall between the front right tire and the engine. I guess you can tilt the engine and do everything without removing that wall, but I'll have to figure that out. It's also hard rebuilding the front right section of the car where you don't have a roof over the car because you don't want dust to keep falling in the open the engine when you take the valve covers off. So I guess a good umbrella, a really clever way to attach it, a big piece of wood that you can stop things from blowing away, and some good putty tape so you can put all the parts on this giant big 4x8 thing on the ground. And you know, the hardest thing for me is finding torque specs, which seem to be completely hidden from every manual and everything. But I'll find it. And then I will do that last big giant $2,000 repair, I'm presuming, in the front right. Here are the repairs. I rattled half the first 15 of them in my last video. Let's see if I can remember them. They all costed a nickel so far, and the other ones I got the parts for free, which is like $1,500 for I got Chevy GM parts for the whole front timing chain, the whole entire front right section. I'll do it all at once because this is a interference engine, meaning if one thing goes bad, it starts making other things go bad. So I might as well do them all at once. Might have a snowball's chance in hell of it lasting that way. And you know, if the dealer or the mechanic does it, something stops lasting, they'll just go, "Well, sorry, you just didn't take care of the car." Well, that's a dealer's voice. The other mechanic will be like, you effed up, man. You didn't treat it right. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. But either way, it'll be your fault, of course. You'll have a snowball's chance. And in fact, if you do it yourself, you won't get ripped off. You don't know what they're actually replacing when they actually do it after they take your thousands of dollars, because it's closed up in there and then they reclose it, and don't you dare watch. So 50% odds of it working either way. It's just a matter of whether you want to spend a nickel or $7,500. That's your choice. Here are the 25 repairs. Thus shall be the title of the video, 25 nickel fixes. I would have put them all as 25 videos, but I'm to end my videos at 100 videos, and this is video 98. I was going to try to do all this in one exhaling breath, this entire list of videos in 25 seconds. I was going to say 25 nickel fixes in 25 seconds. Not likely I would have succeeded. It's already 7 minutes. I didn't start yet. Yeah, even if I wasn't a blabbermouth, I don't think I could have rattled them off in 25 seconds. Maybe if I practiced for a really long time, and I would have been talking so fast, it would have sounded like, they would have been like, what the hell's wrong with you? So I'll let go of that 25-second thing. Shall we go on? Here are the 25 fixes, half of which I've done, because it actually comes to like 30 fixes, but I'll call them 25. I'll bring the camshafts, gears, and sensors into one little nickel fix, which actually would be like several $100, but that's a nickel. Let's begin. The battery, I've already shown visual demonstrations of this on my front catalytic inverter, which is actually in the back video already. When I got this car for $5,000, which was like $3,000 or $4,000 underpriced, it was the only car of this exact type in the entire city I was in, so I didn't have much of a choice, but hell, it was cheaper, and it was at a dealer, so I knew there'd be stuff wrong with it. I'm trying not to swear on this video. So, yeah, so there were these problems, and I wasn't surprised. Several $1,000s worth of repairs. I've already driven it more than 10,000 miles, made more than $10,000 with it. But now, let's go on. Here are some I've already done. I got the thing from this dealer. It had the wrong battery, and the terminals were on the wrong side, the wrong orientated battery, which who cares? It was too big also to fit in the battery spot, but the terminals were on the wrong side, so they had the correct wires on the terminals, but they were stretched around the alternator, around this and around that, and like a short waiting to happen over things melting over time. So I got the right battery. I fixed the wire to the battery I switched. That was 5 cents, a 5-cent job to switch the battery. It's difficult taking the battery out of these Impalas. They have a crossbar on top of them. It's a little bit of a project. It's hard to get them out and stuff, especially that one that was in there, which was too big. That wasn't no joke. You have to remove the electrical box. You have to remove a lot of stuff. But anyway, I switched the battery. That's a nickel job. Then the wires were the wrong kind of wires. I had already parts for wires, so I switched the wires and the connectors for the wires, and with some favors from friends. And I did that for a nickel. And I'll throw in that I also had a bunch of rubber lying around from these jacks I was making. And I put a wire between the plus terminal and the rail, which I just spoke of, which any wrench can cause a short if you just touch the thing. It's totally bad engineering. But I'll call the battery terminals a nickel. I'll call fixing the battery wires a nickel. It just took some creativity and putting the right terminals on the ends of the wires and some crimper gizmos. So that was a nickel. The battery was a nickel. The wires were a nickel. The fixing the wires up was a nickel. The rubber guard was a nickel. Then people thought I needed a starter. Turned out I didn't. I have two spare starters. But let's say I did, hypothetically. Let's say those electricians were right. That was a nickel. I got a junkyard, whatever. after several months, the alternator went bad. I diagnosed that, got lucky, that was it, and I didn't call a tow truck, didn't do anything, got it from the junkyard. That was a nickel, so I did that. I got someone to jump me and blah, 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 blah. So I fixed the alternator for a nickel. I rattled off a lot of this stuff already. These are the 15 things I rattled off. In the middle of doing, I just did the back catalytic converter, the rear knock sensor, which I forgot to put on this list, but I'll call those things a nickel. When I first got this thing, it was buzzing. It was the two, what do you call those? Actuator hobgoblins. They're under the dashboard. You can do them yourself. They're about 20 bucks on eBay. If you go to the dealers, they'll charge you 800 for that one and 250, I believe, for that one. That one takes an hour and a half. That one takes about, where's my hand? That one takes about 5 seconds. They'll charge you 100 for each of them. You can buy them on eBay for 20 bucks each, the auto store, or the auto store for 40 bucks each. They'll charge you like 90 bucks each, and they'll charge you 800 for that, 250 for that. And, you know, that's just an example. It's $1,000. I did the whole thing for a dime. Plus 20 bucks each. But then again, I got paid for by the people who crashed into my car. That was a nickel. That anti-skid light was on. It was a matter of the emergency brake and the rear rotors being not too good, which I'm going to fix. I'm going to replace them when I redo the back wheels. That's my next on my list. Replace the back cat for a nickel. Replacing the oxygen sensor. In the process of it, I've got a plug coming in the mail for 10 bucks. A lot of the plugs are like 40 bucks, even on the internet or at the auto store, but there's one for 10, and there's another for 7, and I got them to admit it did fit this car. It's hard taking that clip off. But that's a nickel. The rear catalytic converter was a nickel. They want 800 to fix it at the dealer. When I get around to it, I will do in one shot the back. I will jack up the back of this car. I'm in the middle of getting my jacks back from the automaker. I will jack up. I do one wheel each. I don't even have to put it on jack stands. But the back hubs, the back rotors. Oh, is there a difference between a hub and a rotor? Oh yeah, the rotor's a little flat thing that the brake pads grease. All at one time, the back hubs, the back rotors, back brake pads if they haven't got ruined by warped rotors. And while I'm down there, easier said than done, but the back struts, which means shocks and springs together. That's a $300 or $400 job from a mechanic if they don't find a way to rip you off further. It's about probably $1,000 at the dealer. That will all be a day's work and a nickel. All 15 of those things are the first 15 that I've rattled off before. Now, the next things is actually another 15 things, but I'll call it 10 things. I'll round down things into a group to make it 10 more nickels, because I like the number 25 nickel repairs. But either way, it's $7,500 worth of work for a $1.25, and if you buy a coffee and refill and put hot water and put some iced coffee in there, you save $1.20, and then it's a nickel for the whole entire thing. Let's go on. Building the front end all at one time. I've already put oil with Auto RX Plus in there to clean out some of the soot. It's a natural thing that most people say works, which is a rare thing. It's one of those rare products that actually work, or a lot more people think works than don't. It's expensive only at first when you're doing the cleaning dose, but after that it's like $5 per oil change or something, just a third of a bottle per oil change. I already got the cleaning dose in there, changing the oil and stuff. So what shall be, if I get around to it and find a ways around that wall that I don't know how to remove, and the dust problem, the umbrella problem, all that, is I will take off the valve covers, and I got new valve cover gaskets. That's like worth $25 or whatever. Probably costs $200 at the deal. But let me not go on with details, ramble on. The whole thing is like, I don't know, $1,500 at a mechanic, and when they start finding things, extra things to charge you, it might be $2,000, $2,500. At a dealer, it's like $3,000 or $4,000. But in any event, it could all be done in a day if you're really mechanically inclined and stuff like that. For me, it'll probably take a week because I'll probably get lazy or something. Maybe I can do it in a day or two. I have a motivation to finish it more quickly if I wake up in the morning. If. I'll take off the valve cover gaskets, as I was saying. I've already put the Auto RX Plus to clean the oil. When the valve cover gasket's off, I will put in the new PCV valve. That's a common cause of clogging up oil gunk. I don't even know if there's oil gunk in the engine or not, but that's a common cause, and a secret was 7/16 and 5/16. You drill the holes a little bit bigger. I can't remember what the number was. It's a Chinese secret to drill the holes in the PCV valve a little bit bigger. Then I also got an oil pressure sensor switch, which I'll put on when I do this. But anyway, I'll take those valve cover gaskets off. I'll take the timing cover off. On the right side are 4 variable actuator camshaft gears anyway. Camshaft actuator gears. I'll call all 4 of those things just the gears, call it a nickel. Then there's camshaft actuators, these Yoda-looking things that you unbolt one bolt and you slide them off. They're on that side of the thing. That's a nickel. While that's all apart, I said I'll do everything at the same time. I will do the power steering pump as I take it apart, the water pump, the oil pump, which I have to find the sequence of tightening it because it's really, really finicky. You have to tighten them in a certain order. And then the timing chain and the timing chain sensors and the other thingamajigger and the new gasket around the timing chain cover and all that to stop any oil leaks and any water leaks. Water pump, if I mentioned it, oil pump, power steering pump, all that stuff. The timing chain, the tensioners, all that stuff costs like $1,500. None of it costs a lot in particular, but it's all like $100 or $50 each. And there's like 15, 20 things in there. So yeah, it ended up being $1,000 or $1,500 for all that stuff. And I will do it all in a day, and the labor will cost me a nickel. Provided I don't strip any bolts or anything like that. Provided I don't screw up. Takes more easiness to successfully do it than to ramble on about it. Let's put it that way. I'm hoping I'm easy enough not to screw it up. But in the end, it will be a nickel. It will be $1.25 for all 25 nickel repairs, and you can make it all back by the nickel coffee mug and the nickel coffee holder, which I put in one of my videos. I didn't even put that in this video. That was another nickel fix. Because it pays for itself with that Contigo coffee mug, which you can't really see in this light, but it's in, not even that light. It's there. I tell no lie. No way to get this camera at it. But in the end, as I was saying, 25 nickel repairs, 1 nickel instead of $7,500. Bada bing, bada bling, bling. That's video number 98. It's a true story, by the way. Provided someone crashes, a couple people crash into you, and you get, you get $1,700. I'm also going to replace the bodywork thing for free. Yeah, I think so, because it takes too long to have a body shop do it. They'll charge. I know they would have charged me $900 and $790, like they said. That's where I got. It was $950 and $790. It was something that I got $1,700 out of. And fine with me. Like the people who crashed into me's insurance paid for it already, but they will make it take forever. They will make a big project out of it. Well, we're not done yet. Blah 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 blah. Each one. You make an appointment. No, we didn't get to it yet. Well, we're not done yet. Well, there was a delay. Blah blah blah. So I think I'll do it myself for a nickel each. Then I'll put some pinstripes on this, put some tint on the windows, everything. It'll all be a nickel in the end. Yeah. Very well then. And 17 minutes and whatever seconds. A nickel. Cool deal.